It's early morning at the heavily defended Nong Aroma camp in northern Uganda. In a few hours, these soldiers will be off to hunt and kill the religious fanatics of the LRA, the Lord's Resistance Army.
They are armed and they are fighting the government. They should leave the civilian out of this conflict which they are in.
The LRA has been terrorising northern Uganda since 1987. After their raids, they slipped back over the border into southern Sudan, just behind these hills. Now, the Ugandan government has had enough. They've sent 10,000 troops and support personnel to stamp out the rebels once and for all. The operation is called Iron Fist. The battle is taking place in the border area of Uganda and Sudan. As the army moves out from the camp, the soldiers know that this is probably their best opportunity to crush the rebels.
We believe there should be around 1,000 fighters in the whole total of LRA strength. 1,000 fighters, we believe so.
Operation Iron Fist has flushed the rebels out of their bases in Sudan, and now they're on the run. Some of the children abducted by the LRA have escaped and been brought to the camp by the Ugandan army. It's this use of children in their war that has earned the LRA such a terrifying and notorious reputation. Their primary recruiting tactic is to abduct children from their villages in northern Uganda and brainwash them to become fanatical fighters. They tell horrifying stories of their life with the LRA, including cannibalism. The LRA child soldiers are brought out for the media at the camp. It's a humiliating experience, and they're extremely nervous. They've been told by the LRA that, if captured, the Ugandan army will kill them. Many of the children have been walking for more than a month in extremely harsh conditions with little food and water. 12-year-old Bosco Kenyera tells me with difficulty about his ordeal at the hands of the LRA. So what will happen to these kids now?
These kids, we shall take them to Rehabilitation Center, where we are gathering all of them for further handlement, because they are traumatized.
And this is a rare photo of the man who controls the LRA and has such a hold over the child soldiers. He preaches that he's on a mission from the Holy Spirit to overthrow the Ugandan government and set up a Messianic Christian State with him as leader. Dennis Ojwe, a journalist for the national newspaper The New Vision, has been reporting on the war for the past 10 years. At one stage, he was even abducted by Kony himself.
In practice, the LRA rebels have turned to be the worst murderers, which is no longer in line with the 10 Commandments, because one of the 10 Commandments says, "Thou shalt not kill," but they are killers, they are murderers.
Kony's control of the child warriors appears total. He tells them they will be invincible in battle if they chant the right words with conviction. The children live in fear of his perceived powers and still accept them even after escape. Kony tells them it's God's orders to attack villages and kill people, even their own parents. And those who do not return or are wounded are not committed to God's cause. But Kony is not prepared to bet his own life on this belief. Despite the army's overwhelming presence in the area, they can't seem to stop the LRA. A mere 40 minutes from the camp is a trading village that was attacked only a day earlier. These people are still fleeing the attack. As we arrive, the locals seem fed up with the war.
Gengo ru uniform man mana waneno jui ikum kaya makani tip len bukana tim che menu gin ma otime doi kar madara ne ogen chen gen go berga chako to dok dukan igma unu neno gin yo weng I roma keni ito gin magi to ke don 1 to 1 neno gin magi tiyo ke yini winu gi chen mer gung magi tikati
Chairman, you see there's a camp commander.
After 17 years of attacks from the LRA, the Acholi community has been completely dislocated. Approximately 500,000 people have been displaced, with tens of thousands living in camps like these, with no idea when they can safely return to their homes. In order to better understand this bizarre movement, I came here to the New World Meltar Jerusalem Church, run by Severino Luquia in the regional capital of Gulu. He was once the leader of the Holy Spirit movement, the forerunner of the LRA.
Hiyo makosa ambao watu nafanya. Sasa hapo bunduki na kamatana bado waka kwa mwili ya.
When I asked Severino what he thought of Kony, the answer was typically obscure.
Kitu mmoja peke yake, yani watu wa Uganda wanapenda moto.
Given this mad background, it's little wonder that the child soldiers are so traumatized. They are about to begin the first stage of their rehabilitation. They'll be taken to the regional centre of Gulu. Commander Andrew Gutti reassures a teacher who also escaped that they are now in safe hands.
Greetings to everybody there. Those who are still hiding in the bush, you should tell them to come up. And then you should be able to talk to the rest of their brothers at home. This thing is not easy.
But the trip to Gulu is anything but safe. With groups of heavily armed rebels now back in Uganda, elephant grass like this is the ideal place to stage an ambush. After a good night's sleep and a change of clothes, the former child soldiers can start the slow process of rehabilitation. Inside the army headquarters in Gulu, they are taken care of by the Child Protection Unit, set up by the local community. Some of the children will also be interrogated here by the army and their information used in the war against the rebels. The local press are invited to interview the kids. It's a significant occasion. Operation Iron Fist has apparently killed dozens of rebels, but relatively few children have been recovered. That worries the local community, and they're keen to have news of the children. Martin Wakarach has been a trauma counsellor for 7 years. As many as 15,000 children have been abducted in the war, and one of them was his son. He was taken 5 years ago and has not been heard of since.
When they turned to the abduction of children, they found that it was much easier for them to manage the children because they can be easily threatened, be easily deceived.
This control over the child soldiers can have devastating effects on the children.
I'm not doing it. Kada ko miyan babana chelo doing it. Gidang mo polata. Ano? Awa ke yup te jigi wango. Ngar tiang ro chengo ke chira 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 rio an. Giwa kar chira an kar chira mari giwata. Giwa ka kok kinera.
They continue to control the children just by suppression and threats. And truly, if a child participates in killing, in a way, if he's supposed to kill maybe his own brother or a relative or somebody, a close friend, then he will begin to think that how will he go back to live in the community when he has already participated in killing his own brother.
In the rehabilitation camps, they also have to undo the brainwashing from Kony's rituals. One of them was to smear their bodies with oil and ash to make them bulletproof.
When somebody is smeared using that share oil, he gets protection from bullets or from maybe guns, such that when you tend to fire at such a passion, the bullet doesn't hit him or her.
Young girls who are abducted are given as trophy brides to the LRA commanders. Sunday Achan was abducted at the age of 14 and has spent 6 years in the bush.
Mayan ko temo bergang ba we temo bergang dok ay lu temo bergang dok ay lu ci atama ne pedong rama dugugang.
Since Operation Iron Fist forced the LRA on the run, the appalling conditions have got even worse.
Kama wa be nongane lokom tuo ki labo bar ki kar mu kene lokom cham pen ka kwat no fut pu chue gene no cham wa fu ne en mi to tiak mwaka ti pi o mwaka gen mo be nongane no tuo ber ga na lo teo ki lokom kech no ki labo bar mu ma da be cham ne chak ruenyo be ki lo teo.
And conditions are now so desperate that Kony is resorting to outright murder. While at the rehabilitation centre, word came through that a group of 100 women and young children had been released by the LRA. An army helicopter went to rescue them from Atiak, about 70 kilometres from Gulu. And this is what we found. This is the largest group ever freed by Kony, who had told his commander to either release them or shoot them. A further sign that the loss of their bases in Sudan had turned the LRA into a desperate and ruthless guerrilla force.
That guerrilla fighter is normally used. You have got to reduce the number, set free the weak ones, set free the children who normally make noise, need a lot of food for feeding, are incapable to fight, and remain possibly with the strong ones.
Many of these babies have deep wounds on their necks from being carried long distances, tied up on the backs of their mothers. Local nurses from the Atiak community immunise the babies, and the mothers are given clean clothes to wear. There's concern that as the war against the rebels intensifies, the children will be caught in the crossfire. And that's exactly what happened to Maurice Otto. After being abducted, he was shot through the back of his neck and the bullet exited through his nose. He's lucky to be alive. Thus far, about 15,000 children have been abducted. About half of those have been rescued. At least 7,000 remain unaccounted for. World Vision are ready to cater for more children, but no one knows why more haven't been located.
So we are getting ourselves set. But however, I'm not very sure what is happening, because we had been waiting for all this time long, now coming maybe 2 months. But only very few children are trickling in.
Dancing is used in the rehabilitation process. Apart from the children enjoying themselves, it also helps in bonding. And while many children have been indoctrinated to kill for the crazed Kony, few have actually seen him. This photo, seized by the Ugandan army, aroused much interest. Lucy Aloyu knows more about Joseph Kony than most. Abducted at the age of 5, she spent 6 years in Kony's main camp in Sudan. And it seems Kony even trained his own children in the art of killing. During her years of captivity at Kony's headquarters, Lucy was also made to kill. There is no compassion for the man who drove her to kill. These boys will go through a 6-week rehabilitation program before they are allowed to go home. But many are so traumatised by what's happened, they stay much longer.
So at times we are forced to go beyond the 6 weeks because the problem is you can't reunite a child when you don't see proper transformation, because at the end of the day, we want to see a positive transformation and we want to see this child putting on at least a smiling face when she goes back home rather than when he or she was entered here.
Today, the program is farewelling 13-year-old James Kilama, who has completed 6 weeks of rehabilitation. He was abducted in February. His brother remains with the LRA, too injured to escape. James seems uncertain about leaving the rehab program. He's developed some strong friendships here. For James, the process of reclaiming his childhood has just begun. Returning to his village holds mixed emotions for James. It was from these very paths that he was abducted, and he's still very frightened. But seeing his mother again is almost too much for him to take in. Martin Wakarich tries to help the family understand what James has been through. This fear is very real. Just last week, the LRA abducted another 120 civilians in this area. But increasingly, it looks like this is the LRA's last desperate throw of the dice. With Operation Iron Fist bearing down on them, it should only be a matter of time before Kony's assault on the innocence of childhood is finally wiped out.